Before I post a video on my channel, I have to do my research, test my idea first and make sure it's valuable to you in some way. And if it fails, I usually abandon it or leave it aside and move to the next one. There are also times where I'm too excited to try a new idea that I don't even get to film it. I'm Max from LifeHackerMax, and today's video is all about ideas from 2022 that didn't make the cut. Some of them worked, some of them didn't, and some are still in the works. But I didn't want to keep those experiments and ideas away, so I thought I'd share them with you. From lifestyle ideas to more technical stuff, you might find something worthwhile. Now, before we dive in, I want to remind you that if you do decide to try any of these ideas, please do your research and try them at your own risk. Some of them might be dangerous or sketchy. With that being said, let's get started with our first idea: inversion therapy. Inversion therapy is a practice where you hang upside down in order to stretch the spine and relieve back pain. It's also said to increase the circulation to the scalp and potentially help regrow hair. But it can be dangerous if you have heart issues or eye problems. I tried a few different methods of inversion therapy, like using my snowboard boots, a climbing harness, or a hammock. But I was always careful and never did it alone. My biggest fear was getting stuck upside down and not being able to get back up again. I tried inversion therapy for 10 minutes a day for 30 days to see if it would help regrow my hair. It did relieve the tension in my back, but I didn't see any significant changes in my hair growth. From my research, it seems like people who see results from inversion therapy do it regularly as part of their routine, which I wasn't able to commit to. I believe inversion therapy can be beneficial to some people, and it is something I enjoyed exploring and still do from time to time for back pain relief. If you do decide to try it, do your research well, ask your doctor for advice, and make sure there is someone around to get you down in case something goes wrong. The second idea I want to share with you is polyphasic sleep. For those of you who don't know, polyphasic sleep refers to sleeping 3 or more segments throughout the day rather than one long block at night. There are several sleep schedules that can reduce the sleep time to as little as 6, 4.5, or even 2 hours of sleep. I tried a triphasic sleep pattern called the tricore, where I sleep for 1.5 hours every 6.5 hours of wakefulness, for a total of 4.5 hours of sleep per day. It took me about a week to adjust to this sleep schedule, but once I did, I loved it. It helped a lot with my insomnia, and I enjoyed being awake at night when everyone was asleep. The idea of gaining 2 full months of sleep every year is very appealing to me. However, I did have to stop because this type of sleep pattern did not align with social norms, and there were always other tasks to complete during the designated afternoon sleep time. Additionally, the schedule required strict adherence and did not allow for flexibility, which could compromise the entire routine if unexpected events occurred. Furthermore, this type of sleep pattern could potentially strain relationships with partners that have different sleep schedules. And experts warn that it might have negative effects on overall health and increase the risk of sleep deprivation. And because I have responsibilities like driving the kids to school and caring for them, I cannot afford to make mistakes due to lack of sleep. However, I hope to revisit this type of sleep pattern in the future when my life permits it. So, I would recommend that if you try polyphasic sleep, take it slow and pay attention to your body's response. And if you do try it, let me know how it works out for you. Cutting my own hair. This idea is a bit more of a personal experiment than something valuable to others, but I thought I'd share it anyway. The reason I started cutting my own hair was because I was too lazy to go out and get it cut. Also, a little socially awkward when it comes to letting someone else cut my hair. But mostly the laziness thing. I did this a few times last year. I tried different techniques with various results, but none of them were even close to what a professional can do. My goal was to shorten my hair quickly and easily and still be able to go out in public. So far, I managed to do it fast and easy. I'm still working on the go out in public part, even though the whole world can see my bad hairdo in my last video. I tried pulling my hair back and cutting the tail, which wasn't bad but not something suitable for me. More of a lady's haircut. I also tried pulling it in the front and cutting, or making 2 tails on the sides and cutting. The best results I got were to make 2 cuts on the side tails. But even those results were not good enough for me. Until I find a decent solution with decent results, I will call this a failed experiment. And since we talked about being lazy, let me tell you about the Lazy Susan hack I did. For those of you who don't know, a lazy Susan is a rotating table that was invented for distributing food, but it is also used in photography and videography as well for taking 360 degrees shots, as you can see in some of my videos. I had used the manual IKEA Lazy Susan in the past, but I wanted something that spun on its own. So I got my hands on an old record player and decided to make my own Lazy Susan. The only issue was that it spun too fast, so I lowered the speed by changing the input voltage from the power supply. This slowed down the motor to a more desirable speed. This was a great hack that I was so excited to use that I didn't get the chance to film it. But if any of you want to build your own Lazy Susan or want to know more about it, just let me know and I will consider making a tutorial. Growing tomatoes and pepper plants at home with LED grow lights. I had no prior experience and was curious to see if grow lights really work and if this activity is something that can be enjoyed by anyone. I started from scratch using Google and YouTube as my guides, and was able to achieve great results in the early stages of growth. However, as the plants grew bigger, I had to split them in two, a part under the grow lights and the other in the window exposed to sunlight. Well, the ones under the grow lights didn't flower at all, while the ones in front of the window were doing very well. After giving them some decent amount of time, the difference in development was big enough, and in the end I turned off the lights and continued the experiment with natural light. Through this experience I learned that home gardening is an activity that anyone can enjoy regardless of age, gender or occupation. It's a rewarding and stress-relieving activity that can boost your confidence and can provide daily happiness. But I also found out that the quality of the grow lights I used was not good enough, or I didn't use them correctly. So I wouldn't recommend using the lights if you're not sure what you're doing. Better go for the natural light instead. If you're looking to grow a plant from the two, I would recommend pepper plants over tomatoes, because they are less demanding and you only need one pepper to enjoy, whereas you need a handful of tomatoes to make a salad. Also, my pepper plants are doing very well during limited light in winter. Another hack I discovered in 2022 that I'm still using, it's about smoking. Remember, smoking can be dangerous for your health. I discovered that I can rip off the tip of the cigarette and still smoke the same number of cigarettes that I'm usually smoking, but smaller. And with the remaining tips, I gather them up, take the tobacco out and roll them into cigarettes. This way I spend less money on smoking. I'm Max from LifeHackerMax, and these are just some ideas that didn't make it as full videos on my channel in 2022. I also got an iPhone 5 with a broken home button to work by adding a virtual home button on the screen. I built an Arduino remote and managed to figure out the IR codes of a small video projector using brute force hacking. I improvised a solution to be able to take a hot shower whenever the hot water is out. And the ongoing project that you have seen in my latest keyboard video, the desk chair, a solution that makes it possible for me to work and relax at the same time. In 2022 I also figured out the secret of being the best partner in bed. I'm just messing with you. Or am I? Some ideas like the desk chair, the camping water dispenser and the hair cutting machine I'm thinking about building are financially demanding in order for me to be able to build them properly. And by becoming a Patreon you can be part of these and future projects. The bigger the support, the better the projects. If you think one or more ideas are worth exploring even further, leave me a comment, give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. This way I will know if you enjoyed my video and you will be able to see all my future projects. Thank you for watching.